you'd like to see in the federal budget to address what small businesses are struggling with?
Well, I want to see this government make it easier for small business. And at the moment, because nobody in the Labor Party comes from small business, nobody sitting on that front bench has employed people, has put their own house up for security, has found a difficult market that they need to operate in. None of them have experienced any of that. And so every industrial relations change that they make, every change that they make to regulation is a cost, an additional cost borne by small business. And ultimately that is passed on to the customer who walks through the door. And this is why you've got a problem with productivity, and it's why you've got an inflationary environment where businesses are suffering under this government's policies, and the increases in their costs, their input costs, get passed on to consumers. And that's why people are paying more every time you turn up to purchase a service or good in the Australian economy at the moment. And I think Australians understand that.
So you mentioned earlier at the summit the need to reduce duplication, environmental regulatory approvals across states.
Well, we've got regulators at the moment who are screaming out to say that we're going to see a disruption to power supply. We've already seen it in some parts of the market over the course of the last couple of years. But they're talking about a massive shortage of gas in the economy. Now, the government didn't want anything to do with gas when they were first elected. They've been mugged by reality now, so they're saying, OK, we can tolerate the presence of gas even though it's a fossil fuel. You've got state governments, including in Victoria, negotiating with coal-fired power stations to extend their life because they know that over the next 10 years, 90% of that baseload power is being removed from the system. In that environment, the cold rooms don't stay on at the local IGA. The local butcher shop and the fruit shop don't run cold rooms when the lights are out of the night time, when the wind's not blowing, or when the solar panels aren't working over night time. They don't work without a firming up a baseload capacity. And if the government's going to take that out of the system, which they propose to do over the next 10 years, it is going to make it more expensive. It's going to make it less reliable, which is why businesses don't stay in an environment like this. They move offshore to an area where they can get cheaper power, where they can get reliable power, because you can't just turn on and off some of these production lines. And I think that's a problem of the government's own making. So we can work with state governments, we can work with local governments around planning and approval processes, including in the housing sector as well. If you do that, you can have a chance of making sure that we can have greener power, you can have cheaper power and reliable power. And at the moment, under this government, power prices are going to continue to go up, they're going to be less reliable, and there is no chance at all that the government can meet their net zero by 2050 commitment that they've made.
Just on the new government general,
Should something be done to avoid a repeat of the secret ministries like what we saw in the former government?
I think today's a time to concentrate on the appointment. I've made comments in relation to that.